and I have 3 minutes to touch this spot, and that will then say I voted for Maduro as he was a candidate for the Communist Party of Venezuela. Then that machine electronically tallies that vote, but it also gives you a paper receipt. So it's both electronic and paper. So you have this paper receipt. It doesn't have your name on it, but it says the name of the candidate, the name of the party. You take that paper receipt and you go to the ballot box and you put it in there. Then you sign your name and you give a thumbprint and you're done. Then at the end of the day, the vote is finished, and at each one of these maces, the ballot box is taken out, and 54%, they mix up the ballots, paper ballots, 54% are taken out, and each ballot of those 54%, they take out each one like this, individually. The members of the various parties that are contesting this election are all there. They all have notebooks, and he takes out this paper and he holds it up and he says, Maduro, Communist Party of Venezuela, puts it down on a pile, and then they make those piles, count them up. All those parties have tallying them with their, so everybody is watching that. And then they print out a electronic receipt from the voting machine, which says the percentage of votes that candidate got, the number and percentage of votes. They compare it to their 54% sample, and then all the members of those parties have to sign off on it that this was fair and correct before the vote goes to the national electoral headquarters. The National Electoral Headquarters are called the CNE. So after the election was over, we went to the CNE, and this picture was taken during the daytime, and another day, but it was dark when we got there, and and then all 300 of us election observers were there. Representatives of the various parties were there. Other people were there. A lot of election officials and technicians were there. And the electoral observers came from all over the world. There's about 30 countries represented amongst the electoral observers. U.S. and Canada, Syria, Bolivia, a number of Palestinians were there. We all sat down. Some of the more prominent electoral observers were this man. Does anybody recognize him?
Honduran.
It's Nicaragua.
Honduras.
Right, Mel Zelaya. He lost his job on June 28th, 2009, when Mr. Obama thought that he should leave, and there was a coup. And then this, I don't know if anybody, Diana, you probably recognize that woman, but do you recognize her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Tell us who that is. Yeah, the former president of Ecuador. So he was there too. We filed into this huge arena, auditorium rather, and it was very quiet. It was very solemn, and nobody knew, of course, what the election outcome was yet. And then the 5 election officials from the CNA come in, and the electoral body in Venezuela, we have a 3-partite government. They have a 5-partite government, where the electoral apparatus is actually a separate branch of government, is independent of the executive. And they very solemnly file in. They're all poker faced, so you can't tell what is going there. And then the president of the CNE gets on the PA, and she announced the results of the election. And again, it's very solemn. There was no like yay, or there was no emotion really shown. amongst all these officials and observers. But in the streets, people were dancing and celebrating. Vamos Nico means go Nico, Nico being the nickname for Nicolas Maduro. Very popular were the Maduro mustaches.
It's funny. Mustache. I like the heart. That's nice.
Bunch of reds.
Various parties were represented there.
And blue. Love.
Okay, so that's the presentation on.
I wanted to ask about the 54%.
Yeah, let's what I would suggest is hold that question.